Yay, you are live. Awesome.
Live. Awesome.
Well, this is not my live stream, so it's up to you, Bill. You introduce everything.
No,
I'm just here to moderate.
It's both, I suppose, of that. So this time, just Zach and me trying to connect on something that Zach touched on earlier, which is how to be a successful YouTuber in China. And I am pretty positive Zach got a lot of feedback on that. By the way, how to be a successful YouTuber in China also stands for how to be a shill in China, right, Zach?
Sure. Are you a shill, Bill?
Personally, I wouldn't call myself a shill, but sometimes I do hilariously mock some shows and try to parody some shows. And you do the same, Zach.
Sure. All right. So your guest is here. Who's going to be your guest today, Bill? Do you want to introduce her?
Yes, I want to introduce Veronica. So Veronica, she's an American citizen, and she works in China and as an English teacher, and she really appreciates basically like 90% of the things in China. And when she went back to USA, she doesn't feel good, and she really wants to come back to China. But because of COVID-19, as you guys may know, there's this inter-country lockdown, so she can't. So I saw like by bringing Veronica on to share her experience as an expat in China with Zach, I think they will be quite insightful. So let's bring Veronica on, Zach.
Sure. There you go. So now we have Veronica. Hello. Nice to see you.
Hello, Veronica. Finally you're here.
I was really happy to find you, Bill. I think that we have a lot in common because when I hear you talk about how you feel about your home country, it was strange to me because it reminds me of the same way that I feel about my home country.
Awesome.
All of my life, I always wanted to go to China ever since I was very, very young. Ever since I found out there was a China, I wanted to go to China.
Whoa. But why not?
Some people might think it's like, a fairy tale. It doesn't even exist.
Well, when I was in kindergarten, my teacher every week would talk about a different country, and I was never interested in any of the countries until we had China Week. And then I was able to use the chopsticks. I was the only person in my class that was able to use the chopsticks at 4 years old. So I was a natural.
That's special. But if you're interested in China, but why not choose to go to a Chinese city that's way more, let's say, a little bit freer, let's say Hong Kong or Macau? How about those places? Why mainland China, I wonder?
Well, I mean, most of that is just because of ignorance, because I didn't know. I mean, the thing is there really wasn't a lot of opportunity for me to learn about China. And like when I was growing up, there's a lot of misinformation about China, I think, in the United States. I mean, like, for example, I'm older than I look. Okay. So in 1983, I was in 3rd grade. And one day we came to school and the teacher had put a poster on the wall of a world map. And all the children gathered around the map to talk about how I want to go to this country and I want to go to that country. And, all the children wanted to go to like France or Germany or Italy or Spain or whatever, And when I said, I want to go to China, the children turned around and looked at me in horror. And one of them said, I'm telling, and ran away to tell the teacher. And I got in big trouble in 1983 for saying that I wanted to go to China because it was the height of the Cold War. And when the other students' parents found out, I was not allowed to go out for playtime or for recess with the other students for over a week because they wanted to have a meeting with my mother and father to talk about that I needed to learn proper patriotism and that I shouldn't be wanting to go to this communist country, and I got in big trouble. So I had to be educated. And basically the teacher took me aside and said, if this is really what you want, then you should just wait and things will change when you get older, so that's what I did. I just was quiet about it for many years and waited. And things did change and things became friendlier between the two countries until, I was able to come to China.
Well, that's quite interesting. in 1990s and you're interested in China. So I assume like back in that time, people must be really pessimistic about China because like this is a very typical communist country and the economy is not good. But now obviously it has changed a lot. But I wonder like how Zach feels about this. Is that the same purpose or the same motivation that interests you about China, Zach?
Well, I discussed this many times before. My main motivation to come into China was actually money, because in the UK, like, you know, I had a decent job, decent like salary and all those things, but you know, you can't live a decent life. Like, you know, you come to China, you make the same money, and the quality of your life is like, you know, 5 times better, if not more. And you know, that was my main like motivation about, you know, coming to China. But I understand that, you know, for average Chinese like people, you know, the salary is not that great, and you know, the quality of life can be like much lower. But you know, the country is catching up. Like, they're trying to, you know, provide more for their own people, and you know, raise the salaries and raise the quality of life in general.
That's right. Like actually, Veronica, we had quite some disagreement on this, right? So I remember we were just discussing like Veronica thinks that China is offering some really good financial stuff for her. But I talked to Veronica. I said, I know like it can be good for expats, but like it's not universal in China. Like the salary difference. I don't know like if you really have some understanding about that, Veronica.
Well, I was aware that some of my coworkers that were working just as hard as me and didn't make as much money as me. Like my teaching assistant in my classroom, when I first came to China, when I found out how much money she made, I felt really bad. I started buying her lunch every day. So yeah, I understand
that's generous.
that. But I mean, part of that is like that. I mean, I'm leaving my family behind. I'm giving up. I mean, it's the time that I spend away from my family is invaluable. I can never get it back, you know? And the stress of having to adjust to living in a different culture. And also, I mean, me growing up, it was not there was no opportunity for me to learn Chinese. So facing those challenges every day of my life in China, the language barrier and simple things that you might think is a simple thing to do can be really difficult for me. Like I spend my whole day off trying to figure out how to pay a bill, you know, or how to file a document. It might take me every day off for 2 weeks just to do some simple thing that would take you 10 minutes. So
probably should hire a Chinese to help do that for you. I'm sure like it won't cost too much.
Yeah, sometimes you can find that, or people will say, ask your Chinese friend. But the trouble with that is that then I end up being like indebted to my friend, you know. I got to the point where I did start just hiring people to help me instead of asking my friend, because I started to feel like I owe my friends too much. And I didn't want my friend to have to spend their day off. Maybe my coworker even, you know, they spend their whole work day speaking English, then they have to spend their day off speaking English too. I just felt like it's too much to ask sometimes. They should have a break so they can think in Chinese instead of have to think in English every day.
I'm very positive your friends are willing to help you. But
I have good friends.
Zach,
my friends are all Chinese.
Hey, let me interrupt a bit. Hey, Zach, I think we derailed the topic a bit, right? Like we are supposed to mainly and primarily focus on how to be a successful YouTuber in China, right? So let's revert back to that a bit, Zach.
Sure. While we do that, let me just point this one out, P. So P said he just subscribed to your Patreon, and he said, keep up the good work, Jayo.
Thank you so much, P. Thank you so much. This is some really great news for me today.
We have Raylan as well. And she
Raylan
subscribed to my Patreon, so I want to thank her right now. So thank you very much. She is a $2 Patreon on my Patreon, so thank you so much.
It's awesome.
Another Chinese one, so says, can't sleep because I'm is that night owl? Is that the word? Yeah, night owl. And I really like your video. There you go. See, I can translate for you, Bill. You should hire me to translate Chinese for you.
Yeah, Zach can definitely do that work. I believe that.
Yeah, so this is gonna be my first point about how to be a China YouTuber, and so many people got upset about this that I pointed this one out because to be able to talk about a country that you're a guest in, and if you want to understand it, you should definitely learn at least a little bit of the language. And I want to go to Veronica and ask her, like, how much Chinese do you actually know? So, for example, if I pull this one up, how much can you read from this?
我什么不什么，我是不 something 毛子. Yeah, I don't know. 我很
So you have let's say you have a basic like understanding. You can understand some words.
For the last 8 months, I've been in the United States, so all of my Chinese, besides I mean, I watch videos sometimes, but like, I mean,
yeah, but I'm guessing
this is the thing. This is the thing is that I'm working in an English immersive environment, and I end up working like I'm a workaholic, so I work like 12 hours a day in an environment where I'm not allowed to speak Chinese. So the only Chinese time I have to practice, I mean, like I said, I didn't get to study Chinese very much before I came to China. And then I came to China and I'm in an environment where I can't speak Chinese. And then, my friends all want to practice English. So I had to make a real serious effort to study on my own.
Yeah. So are you the sort of person that that studies from a book or from like real life experiences? Like you go around on the streets and you just like learn what you hear on the street?
A little both.
A little both. Okay. So yeah, basically, I think, in my opinion, if you want to talk about this country and if you want to give valuable like information to people, you should definitely understand like basics. Like you should be able to communicate in at a level that you can get by. Like you can go into like the nearby supermarkets and say, "Wow, shama shama shama," or
100%.
or "Ge wo shama shama shama." So
that's the extent for me.
I mean, yeah, that's very basic.
Give the taxi driver directions.
Yeah. I mean, like your Joanne, or Joanne, and all of those things, and those are very basic things, but it helps you understand, how society functions around you within your like community. I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to understand the whole country, but you can give like your experience, which is going to have some validity to it. Like it's going to be a valid experience because you can understand what's going around you. Bill,
I feel like Zach is being a veteran right now. Zach is being a veteran trying to tell some lessons to a rookie right now.
See,
but
okay,
Zach is qualified to, like in terms of speaking Chinese. I think Zach is really good. Probably speaks better Chinese than 90% of the expats in China. My assumption.
So, what was I about to say? You just interrupted me, Bill. Damn it!
Not my fault. Not my fault, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can take it away while I think of what I wanted to say.
All right. So, in terms of how to be a successful Chinese YouTuber, so one really weird phenomenon is that China, a country with 1.4 billion people, but like the YouTubers who introduced China, who talk about China on YouTube, are mostly foreigners who don't understand Chinese. Like this is a major weird aspect about that. So I just feel weird because like if you don't understand basic Chinese, bro, I'm not saying like you are not supposed to introduce China. I just think like you shouldn't claim yourself to be an China expert or stuff like that. But that's what many of them are doing. You must know that, Zach. You have, you know those people, right? So, those people.
Yeah. So I managed to catch my thought, and basically what I was about to say is that I'm not I'm not an expert in China, but I read and I listen to a lot of things. And in the past like 3.5 years, I've learned what most people would learn in like 5, because I'm very interested to learn about different things. Like I have a lot of like hobbies and interests, like snowboarding, making videos, cooking, going to restaurants, and going to the movies and watching Chinese TV shows, and all of these things. Like these are little bits and bobs, but you always pick up something from each and every one. And because of that, your knowledge is growing, like not massively, but you always pick out little things from each and every like aspect of life.
So, Veronica, how do you feel about that?
I think part of my issue is that being in China is really overwhelming, and having so many things to keep track of, I start to feel my age. And I think that I have to encounter a situation or of a new vocabulary a lot of times before it really sinks in. And I don't know if it's just me, or although I know it's not just me, because I know other expats that have been in China for years that I speak better Chinese than they do. So I think everybody's different. Awesome. I think maybe Zach's just lucky that he's able to absorb it more quickly than other people.
No, I'm curious. That's my advantage and my disadvantage as well. That I'm curious about things. Like I always try to get to the bottom of it, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. But yeah.
Me too, anyway. Zach. Me too, Zach. This is how I feel when I learn English. I'm just curious. I don't know what does it really mean.
Yeah. So P said another interesting thing. He just said that he subscribed to my Patreon as well. He has a Patreon of mine now, and he said it in Hungarian. Do you guys know Hungarian?
Wow.
No. No? All right. So let me change to Hungarian, then to English, then to Chinese. So I'm just going to say thank you in 3 different languages. So Pete, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you support me on Patreon, and every single one of you guys that support me one way or another. So köszönöm szépen. 谢谢你.
Awesome.
There you go. So yeah, Bill, what's the next thing that you want to address regarding China YouTubers?
Actually, I'm trying to look up some checklists that some of the viewers left on your video about that. So,
sure. Let me find it for you, then.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, there were some very, very interesting ones, and sometimes it got like very personal, like saying like, oh, this person is like a drunk, or he's an old like piece of shit, and things like that. And I don't like to get personal. Like, some people think that I want to be like personal and I want to insult people on a personal level. Not really, but everybody has their little like ticks and quirks and little like things, and you pick it out and you can poke fun at them. But that doesn't mean you're getting like personal and you are personally insulting them. You just having fun.
I just recall one very interesting item. And that is that, like, how to be a successful YouTuber in China. One is that they have this notion, like, there is this very massive Western media that lies about China. I'm like, bro, like, Western media, like, they talk shit about everybody. I watch CNN, like, they talk shit about Trump all day. And when Obama was president, Fox News talk shit about Obama. So, I don't hear, like, some Americans saying, like, our media lies about our president. I mean, like, this is media. Media just do things to criticize people. Like why do you get offended? I think like this notion, like, this mindset, that I think whenever some media talk bad things about you, it's unfair. That is wrong, because like it applies to every organization, every country.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's what I want to ask to Veronica. Do you think that the media is changing the narrative to fit their own agenda, to make it sound like they have this "I know everything" kind of attitude? Does that apply to every single like media outlet, or is it just, you know, one or two companies that are specifically doing this?
Well, I think the media is often the voice of the people. And I think
supposed to be the
well,
voice of the people. Yeah.
I think that people gravitate toward whichever media speaks to them. I mean, there's people that think that all of the media agrees with their viewpoint, but really they're just not looking at the other media outlets. They're only looking at. See, I'm a moderate person. I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, when it comes to politics, I don't agree with either side ever. You know,
Yeah,
and so so I mean, like, I always end up being like, I can't decide what to do. In 2016, I sat in the parking lot and never went in to vote. I just so happened to be in the United States during voting between Trump and Hillary. And I sat in the parking lot outside the voting place so long that they closed the poll and I couldn't pick which one to vote for.
Yeah.
That's bad. You should vote.
Here
you
I
should
am
exercise
again.
your right to vote.
Here I am again. Yeah. So, and the media tries to put across an opinion. And a lot of times I think it depends on money. I think it's whoever's funding the media, which is why YouTube gives an excellent opportunity for people to present opinions and everyone can just choose which voice they want to listen to. You know, it's not a YouTuber isn't backed by like some big, corporate conglomerate. I mean, most of the time, like people can really say what they think instead of having to speak to the money.
Yeah.
That's right.
Another question regarding the media. What do you think? What kind of news can you sell better? The good news that, for example, I don't know, China built another 1,000-kilometer long like rail track, high-speed rail track, or 3 buildings collapsed in China and 50 people died. Which one is gonna sell better? What do you think, Veronica? I want to know Veronica's answer first. What does she think? Like, which one sells better? Which one gets more clicks and more talk about it?
Well, clearly, it's always whatever's the clickbait is always the thing that's exciting and scary, and what's fear really sells. What is it? It's like fear and sex and danger and controversy, and it's negativity that sells, I think, the most. You have to deliberately seek out good news. There's no market for good news.
Yeah, that's true, but like you said, shouldn't the media be for the people? Like, to keep it valuable for the people? I mean, listening to bad news all the time is not valuable for people, is it?
Right.
So I understand what you mean. Like, the media should be for the people and by the people, but it's not really at this time, in 2020 or the 21st century. It's just not how it is. And unfortunately, it's the same in China. Like, Chinese media is absolutely the same. Like, you can go on to CGTN, CCTV, all of these places, and they don't present the good news. For example, the UK. My parents are still in the UK, and they have good sources. And they said that there is a factory near them that produces 150,000 COVID-19 tests, and that's a very big number for such a small island, because the UK is an island, and that's just one city, and they produce 150,000 COVID-19 test kits. And that is a very successful thing, because they managed to set it up so fast and so quick, and they became so efficient and so successful in such a short time. But nobody is talking about that. Everybody is saying like, oh, Boris Johnson did that. Boris Johnson is an idiot, which he is in some sense. But, that's always the narrative. There is no good news, and it doesn't matter where you go, China, the UK, the US, I think. It doesn't matter where you go. There's always, more bad news than good news.
I think that's why I started looking for my news on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like most of my news comes from like the late night guys, late
Yeah.
night talk shows.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
at least that way they're giving me the facts. They're giving me like clips from like actually what happened on the news, but then they're giving it to me with a little bit of sugar, like the spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down,
Yeah.
They give me that little bit of a giggle along with it, like, so I don't have to feel the pain of the reality of the truth so much, but I still get the information.
Yeah, absolutely. So next one, Bill, I managed to get that list, and it's very long.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's have a look at this one. So
Let's go.
I'm trying to censor myself because I don't want to get you in trouble, Bill. I don't want to talk about she who must not be named.
Understand.
Zero to hero transformation in China. In their own country, pro-China YouTubers live a life of mediocrity. Young women will avoid them, and they are unwelcome at tables in bars. Okay, so basically, being a loser at home and then coming to China, then you are suddenly a superstar.
So this point,
yeah,
this point, I think like it's partially true to some people, but like this statement is kind of judgmental about the persons who's coming to China. So my feeling is that it's always about the specific individuals. So for the most part, I think China is not a country that attracts like the most successful foreigners who come to live here, right? So it's mostly like the ordinary people who think like China can offer them a good life. They come here, and like this statement, like like some people they are, but what do you think that you are a foreigner? You are more qualified to speak about this without offending people, And Veronica,
I love to offend people. I love to say the truth. Actually, let me plug myself a little bit. In one of my next videos, I am going to talk about the N-word. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a university professor.
Yes.
And he said the Chinese word, that, nigger. And black people lose their minds like, oh my God, you just said the N-word.
They hurt me.
Let me tell you a little story, and people watching right now, they will understand when I explain it. In Hungary, we have Hungary is in Eastern Europe for the viewers that don't know. That's where I'm actually from. And in Hungary, we have a sweet called Negroes, Negro, Negroes. And if you say it in English, Negroes is a very bad word. It's same as saying the N-word. But in Hungary and in Bosnia and all of these Eastern European countries, Negro is a pack of sweets. And I actually talk about this in my upcoming video that, just because you say the word Negro, it's not racist. If you talk about the sweets, if you specifically say that I'm talking about Negroes as in sweets and not Negroes as in people, then you're totally fine. As long as the context is right and you explained it properly, you shouldn't hurt people. People shouldn't be hurt over it. And that's what the professor did as well. He explained it that in China, he gave the context. He gave the context, and people still, lost their shit. Like, oh my God, a white professor said the N-word. Like, honestly. Seriously, but
he was talking about linguistics too. I mean,
he
was discussing the etymology of filler words. It was in the middle. It was just in the middle. It was an example that was used while talking about like the way Americans would be like, he used it as an example for how that can be done in another language.
Absolutely.
So it was very much in context that he did it.
Yeah.
And when you said that black people were offended, I know a lot of black people that are just as dumbfounded by this as you seem to be. So it's just that some specific people who didn't understand it were hurt by it.
Yeah.
And
let me just correct myself. The people that were offended at first were African American students in the Zoom class. Then once the news got out, us whites joined in as well, like, oh my god, this professor is so racist. So yeah, I mean, it can get ridiculous.
Caution, I think.
Yeah, like everybody is trying to be like, super PC, and like you said, like we use these filler words like and, but, and if we ask Bill, I'm sure that when he tries to say something, like he uses the word like "wea," "nega," 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 "shama." Do you know what I mean? Is that true, Bill? Like, do you use these filler words?
Yes, like he just pronounces the same, but it's not the same meaning. Right?
I heard it a lot more in Dongbei area when I lived in the Northeast, down in the South.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm in the Dongbei area, Jilin, just under
I
Changchun.
was in Changchun for a long time.
Oh, there you go. So when you come back, you can hit me up.
I don't know if I'm going to go back up there. I fell in love with Shenzhen.
You should. It's totally fine up here. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like seriously, like I'm not a racist person, and I need to make this very, very, very clear. I'm an educated person because I'm not afraid to talk about this, and I'm not afraid to explain what it is, and that's a huge difference. Being ignorant and saying the N-word over and over and over again, that's just uneducated. That doesn't work. But if you're educated and you're willing to talk about it and explain it in context, that's fine. And that's what so many people don't understand, or they don't want to understand.
Zach P, aka Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, sure. So Gretchen said that there is another word.
The Latin root. That's why in Spanish, the word black is negro. Yeah.
Yeah. The N word is complicated with Zoomers these days. Yeah. In Korean, it means you. Does it? Does anyone know Korean?
I did not know.
Pretty sure Glitter understands some Korean.
That nigga in Korean meant something different the first time I listened to K-pop band 17. Sorry, I don't personally listen to K-pop. I don't know about you guys.
No, I've always been very China focused. I don't know.
Hey,
maybe I was.
By the way, Zach. Hey guys, let me interrupt a bit. By the way, Zach, are you guys personally offended by that statement saying that foreigners come to China zero to hero transformation? Do you guys feel offended by this kind of rhetoric?
If it comes from a Chinese person, a little bit, because that's just bunching up all the foreigners, like everybody is a loser, and they don't make like they don't see us as individuals, they just see us as foreigners. So but I don't easily get offended, like when some Chinese people would call me like Yang Laji, like I'm like, whatever, dude, like or like Shabi Lawai, or like Tony Mada, or things like I don't get offended. I don't get offended.
Do people really say that to you?
It only happened like
or behind your
twice.
Back, walk by.
Twice.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
Like they only really said it to my face twice. Maybe there were other times that I wasn't aware of, but it was only twice. Once it was over a parking spot like dispute, and the other one was I accidentally bumped into someone in the supermarket, and it was like an old Ai, and she was like really upset. She was like this like evil eyes Ai, and I was like, Debuchi.
So Veronica, will you be offended by this kind of thing?
It took me a while to even understand that people thought that. And for me, I think I don't get as much of it because I'm female. So I think I get a little bit more understanding from like the IE. If I bumped into the IE in the store, she would probably be nicer to me than she was to you. Also, I think that the people that really get offended by that kind of thing are the people that it's true about them, because the truth hurts. And also, I think that anyone who is easily offended doesn't stay in China for very long. If you're the kind of person that gets bent out of shape about little things, like what a stranger on the street might say, if you're that kind of person that gets offended easily, then you aren't going to be in China for very long.
Yeah.
You'll lose your patience and you'll leave.
True.
People who are going to stay in China for the long haul are the people who can remain calm in a crisis, who won't be swayed by the opinions of others.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, I just continue to be myself and be the best I can be. And I behave as a professional. I'm a professional educator and I conduct myself that way. And then you can think what you want to think, you know, you don't know me, you know, so.
That's right. That's the right mindset. So actually, I feel like this statement, it's kind of hard to like accurately assess if this is right, because I feel like the reason this happen is because some Chinese people, they are jealous about foreigners in China. They're jealous because like it's just because like when foreigners come to China, like they can easily make way more money than their Chinese counterparts. For example, being a teacher, you know, like you guys probably make like 45 times more than a regular Chinese English teacher. So like those people just feel like, why like these foreigners are making this much than us? Like it stems from a deep sense of jealousy, and it's sort of targeting like this group, which is not fair because some people are really good people. Are there assholes for sure? But like if it's targeting a group, like this is misleading. It's my understanding about this phenomenon.
Sure. So let's talk about the salary like imbalance. I think that's a good starting point. So there are reasons why there is a huge gap, and you know, English teachers are considered experts, and that system would be a very good system if they would actually treat people as experts. But you know, there are people that come here, they work in kindergartens, you know, teach the ABC like red, blue, green, and 1, 2, 3, and they do that for years on a legit like visa and everything. But those people are not experts. Like everybody can do it. Like, you know, I can ask Bill, go into the kindergarten and do it. You know, you can do those things, and you don't need an expert for it. Like for experts, you need someone who can bring something in that is not available in China. For example, if there is an international school, they need someone who's an expert in English or an expert in maths or expert in like, you know, foreign curriculum. That's what you need an expert for. To teach in a kindergarten, like, you know, 1, 2, 3 ABC, you don't need a foreigner for that one. And you know, this like foreign expert like certificate thing is kind of a joke at the moment, because, you know, they are making the rules like tighter and tighter and tighter, but they are not weeding out the real problem. That's just my opinion. I think, Veronica, you can probably elaborate a bit more on this from your opinion, from your like perspective.
I think that oh man, it's a huge topic.
Yeah.
We could talk the whole hour about just this. What you're saying about the kindergarten, I think it goes beyond English when it comes to kindergarten. So like, I think that more important than, dealing with kindergarten students is a whole nother category of expertise. Okay. But in as far as like being a foreign expert in English, like I can say from my own example, the latest job that I just had was where I had to analyze the Guangdong Education Bureau standards and compare them to the New York State Common Core curriculum and create curricula that would combine those two standards for students so that they could travel between the two countries. Okay. So to me, that's, you know, a foreign expert responsibility. Exactly. You know, like they couldn't have like, you know, a Ukrainian girl come in and do that because she wouldn't have the background or the, you know, the experience to do it. But that said, I've also worked with a Ukrainian girl who I learned a ton of stuff from her about just general teaching skills and classroom management skills. And she was fabulous. The problem comes in where parents are deceived, where like the parents maybe aren't skilled in English. They don't have the English skills to be able to detect the difference between an American teacher and the Ukrainian teacher's accents. And these schools sometimes are misrepresenting the background of a teacher. And so the parents are paying for a service that they're not really getting.
Yeah.
And that becomes problematic, I think. When I think that we should do away with everything other than there should be some kind of an exam. I don't think they should have this, well, if you're from one of these countries, I don't think that's right. That whole, like, if you're from this or that country, then you're okay. And if you're from this or that country, then we don't want you. I don't think that's a good way to rate the expertise of an English expert. I think there should be a better way than just country of origin, because I mean, I know some Americans that just barely managed to pass their classes, and now they have a degree. So now they qualify and they can get paid the same as I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that. And, I agree with it. Like, it shouldn't be down to skin color and nationality. There should be like some sort of a, I don't know, test or a guidance, what determines who's qualified and who's not. But the problem with that is, it can still be rigged. Like there are still ways around it. And it's just difficult to come up with a perfect system for that. But anyway, I have a question for you, Veronica. You seems to be a very knowledgeable and friendly person. And I think the China YouTuber community misses a person like this. Have you ever considered doing your own channel maybe, or making videos of opinion pieces and all that sort of stuff?
I did some videos for a while, and I just recently deleted all of my videos off of YouTube.
Oh dear.
I had some for a while, and then I just decided, and I just last month, I just went through and deleted all of my YouTube videos. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe
you should do it. You should totally do it. You have the knowledge and you have the personality as well to do it. I think you have the personality to do it, and that's one of the biggest things. Like when it comes to making videos, is have a good personality. Like I know my personality is it's very. It really divides people, like the audience. Like there's the kind of people that love me and they're like, oh my God, Zach made another video, let's watch it. And there's the other one I was like, oh my God, this idiot. I know that there is people are dividing themselves like that, but it's fine.
Right now, 100% of my time and all of my heart and objective is on getting back to China, because I left China it was my first time coming back to visit my family in 5 years. And I thought I was coming back for 10 days. I left everything I own, including all of my documents and everything. I carried a backpack with one change of clothes, and I came to the United States for a 10-day holiday. And then I was supposed to be here from January 17th until February 7th, and then I was going to come back. And on the 5th, I found out my flight was canceled. And I was like, oh, okay. They rescheduled it for next week. I guess I have an extra week, And now here I am, all these months later, still here and still finding, my work permit expired at the end of June. And my residence permit expired August 28th, and I have to start all over with a new visa, but the Chinese consulate isn't accepting applications for new visas. So I'm really just crying. Literally crying, because I had to remote move out of my apartment and put all of my things in storage. Now I can never go home. China felt like my home. I planned on staying in China until, eventually you get old and they won't give you a work permit anymore and you have to leave. That's how it works.
Yeah, but you're not that old, are you? You just said you're like what, 18?
What's that?
You just said you're how old you are? 18, you said? You turned 18 last week, yeah?
What?
It's a misjudgment.
I'm 5.
A little bit older than 18. Right.
Oh yeah, sorry, 21, because then you can buy alcohol in America. Yeah, you just turned 21 last week, Veronica. Is that correct?
No, I would not want to go back to I've accomplished so much in my lifetime. I want credit for every single year of it.
Yeah.
I've been through these challenges, man.
Yeah. So there is one more question, and then I'll give it back to Bill because I'm kind of hijacking his stream. So from my understanding and what I can see, you really love this place, and you really love the life that you're having and the people that surround you. Is that how it is? Is that the reality, or you have a different opinion, or are there periods where you really don't like China?
China is the best life I've lived. Was my life is my best years have been my years in China. I can't wait to come back. I'm like, please, China, take me back. I love you so much.
Whoa. It's special.
I even launched this, I had a scheme where I was like, what if I apply for asylum with the Chinese government and tell them, my government isn't taking care of me. They're putting me in danger and I need to be protected. So please, China, take me and protect me. And I had this scheme where I was like, because COVID here is insane and China has done such a great job of managing it and keeping everybody safe. And the United States is not doing that. And so I thought, well, maybe I can apply for protection from the Chinese government and maybe they'll take me back to protect me. I would
You have a lot of admiration for Chinese government.
Well, I've been well cared for. Even when I've had serious issues, I've been looked after. I've felt like, I don't know. I've had good experiences. So I guess my opinions reflect those experiences.
So in terms of this topic, we actually discussed this before, Veronica. I said you were right. China did outperform USA in terms of containing COVID-19, but there is something that U.S. government does better. For example, this stimulus package during COVID-19, this government is giving their people free money to make them maintain their living. But when this was happening in China, when people are not working in lockdown, there is no stimulus package in China. So but you don't think that really matters because you think, man, $1,000 a month, it's nothing. But I'm telling you, $1,000, it's a lot of money in the eyes of ordinary Chinese people. It's a lot of money, and I think that's a thing that deserves admiration too. This is a good thing American government did. And this is pretty much most countries around the world are giving their people money when this was happening, but China wasn't doing that. And of course, China's good thing is that it contained COVID-19. So, yeah, that's my point basically.
Yeah, but I think that you misunderstand the stimulus package thing because the amount of money that they gave, it was a one-time thing and it wasn't even enough for most people to pay their rent for that month. It was a really, really small amount for most people. It didn't meet their needs at all. And it was only one time. And now, it's been 8 months since then that things haven't gotten better here much, what's happened is that people have kind of started ignoring the problem somewhat. People have just kind of, they stopped giving us the numbers of how many cases there are here. I don't know. Like I don't want to start getting into it because people get really, really angry. And I mean, I already have my family members angry with me about this stuff. Like, if you hate it here so much, why don't you leave? Well, I would leave if I could. You know, I mean, I think that you kind of I think you give too much credit to the value of that stimulus package thing. Most of that went to corporations. Most of that went to billionaires and people who didn't really need the money. I mean,
but like every individual has a right to claim this $1,000 package. That's right. So, but like, it's okay. You say like it's just one time, but one time is one time, $1,000. If this happens in China, I'm telling you, this will be tremendous. People will be exhilarated. So like, there's something that I think deserves praise.
in China, I mean, my foreign friends in China, their employers had to pay their salary for a certain amount of time, even though they were in lockdown. So, I mean, I know that you and I talked about this, that didn't happen for most Chinese people. I kind of thought it was for everyone. And I know that my Chinese coworkers at my job, my Chinese coworkers did get paid for the first month, even though we weren't working. So,
yeah.
But I mean,
yeah,
I guess
it happens to some people, but for the most part, the vast majority of Chinese people, especially those people who work in those ordinary jobs, those like the minimum wage jobs, which is the majority, they do not have that. And Zach, I need your opinion on this. Please, Zach, share your opinion on this.
Well, I can't speak for the US, and obviously I don't want to jump into that one, but I know that in the UK they did the same thing. It was a little bit different though, because people were getting paid like about 80% of their normal wage each month, but they had to wait a very, very long time. Like my parents, they were in lockdown for almost 3 months, and they only started receiving this compensation kind of thing in June, I think. And that was like 3 months after they announced like, oh, everyone's going to get like 80% of their normal salary and whatnot. And, it's good money. Like 80% of your normal salary is very decent. So, they did a good job. But, announcing something, then waiting 3 months for people to basically use their last pennies to buy bread and all that sort of stuff is just, I understand that there are, logistics and paperwork and they really need to count it out and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think it takes 3 months to start sending it out to people, because obviously there is a system, like an employment system, like who's legally employed and who's not. And they can just have a look in the system, XYZ is employed, but ABC is not. So ABC is not going to get anything. XYZ is going to get it in the next 2 weeks, for example. And it's an automated system. There is very little human input in this system. So it's mostly automatic. So they have a system, they select, X amount of people, they're going to get this much. Then there's the other group and they're going to get this much. So, it should have been a lot quicker, but from my perspective, it is actually, better than the US example, one check for $1,000. But, the other thing is that I need to say kind of against you, Veronica, is that, it was at least one thing. They could have just said, we're not going to give you anything, do whatever you want. If you want to, have anarchy in your city or whatever, you go ahead, you can kill yourself. But, they were like, you know what, we're actually going to give you this. We will try to, make it look like that we are trying to help. I mean, I understand it wasn't much of a help because, like you said, $1,000 for some people, that's not even enough for the rent. So, I totally understand your point with that one.
I just personally know people that lost their apartments and had to go live in their cars, and then maybe their car was parked in the wrong place, so everything they owned was in their car, and their car got impounded, and they lost everything they owned. And I mean, it's I know a lot of people who are really in financial trouble right now, and it's just it's rough here. It's really rough here. Like I'm in my dad's basement right now, you know, like I never thought this was going to happen to me. I was doing so well. Like what's going on? Please, China, take me back.
Totally
Yeah.
understandable. Totally understandable. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, I think
but the
both
other
of our
thing is
points
like,
are legit.
yeah, but the other thing is like, you know, what people need to understand when they're saying like, you know, oh, China never gave anything to their people. Not exactly true. I mean, you know, we had like food deliveries and all that sort of stuff for free, like, you know, free of charge and all of those things. But, you know, we never really received any money for it because it's a 1.4 billion country. Like, I don't know how many people in the US right now, like 400 million, something like that, right? So, you know, the amount of people in China is, you know, much more. And to pay out even half of that, like, you know, $500 to like every person that is working legally is a huge hit. It's going to be a huge hit on China. So, you know, taking a dump on China just because of this is kind of unfair.
I have a question for Bill. I mean, are there a lot more homeless people now? Did a lot of people lose their homes? I mean, are there a lot of more people on the streets now? Are there more homeless people than there were before?
No, you mean China, right?
Yeah, in China.
No, like this is not a phenomenon you see in China. Like China, it seems like this place where you don't see any ugly sights when you live in let's say a city. Like you don't see any homeless people or people who just live in their cars. No, I feel like most people they have a home, but the problem is that like those people do exist and they are invisible. It's not like in US you have like this place like called Skid Row in Los Angeles where all those homeless people just live together in a place with tents. But in China it's like they just like live in those places you cannot see. They're invisible. And other people like who say who are in dire financial conditions, they are also in a place that's not visible. Like they are in some remote villages, like living in some really old and decrepit construction stuff. Zach knows that like those remote villages, like those places, their conditions are really hard. But like one thing, you are right, the impression like, oh, I feel like US has so many homeless people and China, I don't see that. That is right, but like those people do exist in China, just less visible, you know.
I mean, like, do you
Yeah.
know people personally who like their lives have been completely changed because of the pandemic? I mean, I'm not going like I don't see homeless people on the streets, but like I personally know people who had jobs and homes and now they don't. You know?
Uh, it happened during the lockdown period, but now, no. When it was in lockdown period, many people lost their income, and I see news that some people just committed suicide and stuff. You know, that was really depressing. But now
I've
I
seen
don't
that
see
too
this
here.
kind of.
I've seen that here too.
Yeah.
I know some people who've killed themselves during the last year too.
Yeah, that's what I see. And now I don't see any because like it's not really existing anymore. COVID-19, for the most part.
Yeah. That's why I can't really be angry with China because I have to respect it that I mean it hurts me personally that I can't come back to my, you know, the place that I love and that I lost my home, you know, my apartment, the place that I called home for so many years is gone. You know, even when I come back to China, it's going to be different, but I have to respect it that policy decisions were made to protect the people and that, you know, I mean, the reason that they're not letting foreigners come in is because like we closed the doors, everybody in here is okay. You know, like I can totally understand why they wouldn't want an American to come there because it's risky. I mean, Americans are diseased right now, you know, it makes sense. I mean, but it hurts me. It hurts me personally, but I can understand like in general that it makes sense.
Yeah, but there is a sort of ignorance in China when it comes to foreigners and the virus. Like, you know, the borders are technically closed. And even if people come in, they still need to go into quarantine.
Mhm.
And yet they like, see me on the street and I can see people pulling their mask up. Like, I'm within like 5 meters of them in a radius, like a 5 meter radius. They pull their mask up like, oh my God, Lawai. And the Lawai has the virus. So, we should stay away from the foreigner. So in some sense, it is kind of brainwashing the people, like, trying to put the blame on the everyday people. And that's something that I can't really understand what's the point of it, because it's just going to divide people even further. Like, there is already some sort of disagreement between foreigners and Chinese when it comes to this virus, but because of this, it's gonna like grow, not like exponentially, but slowly it's gonna get bigger and bigger.
It's fear again that motivates people. People
Yeah.
in general everywhere are motivated by fear.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Bill, a question for well, I guess this is for us. Would be great to do a video on what happens to the homeless in China. Assume they are swept under the rug by the community police. Would you be willing to go out to a nearby village or somewhere where they have homeless people in your city and just
Yes, I do have this idea, but I think like this is kind of disrespectful for those people. I feel like most Chinese people, like the homeless people, they will not want some people who's trying to like present it to the public. I think this is disrespectful, and that's why I didn't do that.
So what about if you ask that homeless person, like, do you want to explain your story? Because in the UK it's very big. Like, I don't know why we have this niche in the UK, but many people like to go around and just film how they treat homeless people and how they tell their stories and all of these things. Like, I understand it's clickbait and for the views and everything, but there are genuine people out there who are doing it because they want to help them. So do you think if you take that approach, like giving them something, is that gonna like make it better or more like approachable for you?
Yeah, I think they will definitely make it more approachable. Actually, I have done this thing in USA, but I didn't film it. I was just curious. I see like those homeless people. I just wonder what's their life like, and how are they planning to go on with their life. Like, I just asked them because like USA, a developed country, so many homeless people living on the street. Like, this is something that I didn't imagine before I came to US. So I'm just curious about their conditions, and because, but in China, I know their conditions. Those people, like, no food coupon and those stuff for them. Like, they are just go on their own. But in USA, like, those people, they have some food coupons which they can use to get some burgers, right? So, but yeah, this is definitely a good idea, and I think I'll definitely try to do that in the future in a respectful way to present what's it really like to the people who are interested about this situation.
I can understand why you are hesitant to do that, though, because I think there's a big difference between like Western culture and homeless people wanting to speak up about what they're experiencing, and in Chinese culture, people, wanting, feeling self-conscious about like what they're going through. I think Chinese people don't like to talk about their problems as much as Western people do.
That's right.
And especially since, like, if a Chinese person is homeless and they speak up about their experiences, it might reflect on their families. It might, like they don't want to hurt their families by talking about the hard times they're going through. Whereas in the Western world, like in America or in England, they might not care so much. It doesn't in America. Okay, like in America, if you're homeless, that's on you. It has nothing to do with your family. It's your own personal choices. And whether you succeed or fail in life, it's all about what you did and what choices you made. But in China, where it's more of a collectivist culture and where families really try to work together, or that's, I mean, I'm making major generalizations now based on like, what I've studied in university about intercultural differences. So like Chinese culture, there's more of a judgment about did you take care of your family or not? So like if there's an old woman in China who's homeless, well, why didn't her children care for her? Where's her family? Why isn't her what did she do as a mother that now her child doesn't even want to look after her? What I mean, you know, and in America, whereas in America, it would have been like, well, you know, it's on her to take care of herself. It's not her child.
That's the difference.
I need to take care of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's different of cultures. I can understand why you would hesitate to do it and why you would have to be careful about how you approach that kind of a topic.
I feel like there's this kinds of videos in China. Zach must know this Chinese platform, Chinese TikTok, and some people they would just try to film these people and give them food and stuff. And I actually have seen some of those videos, and this is really heartbreaking. I mean, those people, like those homeless people, they film in their 80s, in their 90s, like old men who just completely incapacitated, don't have a home, homeless, no food coupons, completely on their own. I just can't imagine how are they living their life in such an old age with no social welfare for them, no food coupon. Like, it just really makes me feel bad. And no, like I know those things. It's bad. It's bad everywhere. But in China, I think like at least give those people some food coupons, right? Zach, have you seen this kind of videos on Chinese social media?
Yeah, it was actually Mikey. He showed me some of those videos, and I remember a very, very specific one. It was a little girl. Well, not little, but she was about 12, maybe 13, and she was like carrying these like big bags full of like rice and everything. And this like guy about my age, so like late 20s, maybe early 30s, he went out to these villages and he started helping them and, you know, giving them like books and everything. So, you know, there are definitely good people out there who are, you know, willing to help and wanting to help. So, yeah, I don't really want to say anything else because I don't want to get you in trouble, Bill. I mean, if you
so
won't be on the
cautious right
stream,
now.
I would say, you know, a lot more. And probably I would say a lot more in my own videos, but yeah.
I think we're good. We're not touching any sensitive lines here.
No, not really, but you need to understand that you know, there are certain things that that people want to hide in this country, and they don't want the outside world to see it.
Right.
So
That's right.
yeah, I mean, there were some videos where I talked about, you know, sensitive things, like for example, the hotel quarantine in Shenyang, and you know, how and what happened to some of my friends, and you know, how a couple only got like only one tray of food between the two of them for a whole day. So yeah, there were some interesting things that you know, never really got out. Or like the university student, the guy from Uganda, a friend of mine who got locked into the university for more than half a year and he wasn't allowed to leave. So there are sensitive things that, you know, if you talk about it, you get in a lot of trouble. But if I talk about it, I can just, you know, brush it off with the Tingbudong card. Like, you know, I don't know. Like,
Appreciate that, Zach. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, you know, there are things that I'm very willing to talk about, and I don't really want to censor myself. But I also understand that, you know, not everything is about me, that there are other people, and, you know, I should consider them as well. Everybody's heart is melting in the comment section, I can see. Anyway, let's jump back into the main topic, which was, you know, how to become a successful China YouTuber. Bill, what's the next thing that you have in mind?
Damn, I had to look at the checklist, Zach. Checklist.
Sure.
You got that thing?
Sure. Let me put it up for you.
And by the way, in the meantime, I'm trying to say thank you to two of my fans who has supported me yesterday very tremendously. Chair, when I was approaching 999 subscribers, Chair he registered a new account to subscribe to my new channel, which helps me to hit the 100 subscribers mark. And Haber, my old friend, has also supported me very tremendously with that. So really appreciate Cheer and Haber. Big thank you to you guys. Really appreciate that, and hope you have a good day.
Awesome. So there is one which is very personal, but I'm going to read out all 8 points. So number 1, unable to get a girlfriend in the West. Number 2, a drunk. Number 3, unable to speak Chinese. Number 4, like going to parks and restaurants every day. Number 5, hates the West. Number 6, sucks the CCP's tit. Number 7, likes looking at girls that are 50 years younger. Number 8, autistic weirdo. Number 9, sorry, it was actually 9 points, not 8. Number 9, says my life's great all the time. Do you think some people overplay this? That my life is amazing. Oh my God, look, a tree. Look, there's rubbish in China. Like I did in my parody video, actually, which was inspired by
Oh yeah,
Lola Farley. So
this is a great point. This is a great point. This reminded me of
I'm sorry.
a very classic guy on YouTube. And you know that guy, Zach, you know. His video is like, whoa, China is this. I am impressed. Like every video is like, I am impressed. Park in China. I'm impressed. Like it's just ridiculous. I don't know
no,
why.
it's like, oh my God, China has oxygen? Seriously?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I can't believe this about China.
Yeah. So do you think there are people out there that are overplaying this card? Like, you know, oh my God, my life is amazing and China is like so good. I mean, obviously, like I can see, Veronica, you like China, you love China because you have valid reasons to love it. But, you know, for me, like, you know, buying cheap beer and, you know, walking in a park and looking at girls that are like 50 years younger than me, that is not an amazing life. That's a weirdo's life, like somebody pointed it out in my comment section. So for me, that's not an amazing life. An amazing life is when, for me, my personal opinion is you can travel, you can experience new things, you can try new food, you can meet interesting people, and you can communicate with these people. Like those are the things that would make my life amazing. Not that I can buy, you know, a 4 yuan Qingdao.
Well, for me, the things that made my life amazing weren't very interesting. You know, like for me, it was just amazing to be able to, I mean, every month have all my bills paid and not have to worry about where the money was going to come from. You know, for me, I've never I've lived a really boring life, really. My life was never, I'm not really into traveling a lot. I mean, and I just like being able to work and feel respected in the work that I do and enjoy the work that I do and be paid enough to, you know, have a decent life. And oh man, the amazing thing was like being able to go to the neighborhood foot massage shop and like get my shoulders rubbed, you know, like with no obligation. I just pay you and go home, you know, like I mean, that's the kind of thing that was amazing for me. Nothing that I could make like incredible videos about or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I really sympathize with your feeling. You know, that's I would say, like something that I'm really
There's Chinese food in China.
aspirational about, like just that state in China, just able to pay your bills and live a decent life, and make 4 or 5 times money than the minimum wage worker. Like it's just a really great life, and most people would be really satisfied with that. And I really think like this is a fundamental reason why so many people just appreciate their life in China, because it's good when you're at that level.
Yeah. To come back to my previous point and the 5 things that I said, you know, like what makes it amazing and what makes it great is the opportunity that you can actually see something for yourself. Like you don't need to rely on other people to be able to experience it. You can do it by yourself, and that's what makes it amazing. It makes it amazing because you're in control of your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And being in control of your drinking habits is not amazing. It's sad. So yeah. Also, big shout out to AK, longtime supporter. I think he is a subscriber of yours as well, Bill. AK's been supporting me since, well, basically day one of my second stint as a YouTuber. So thank you so much, AK. I really appreciate it. And there is Chinese food in China. Oh my God.
There's not. There's no Chinese food in China.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
There's Chinese 老外 in
No
China.
Chinese food in
We
China.
got a deck 老外 in China.
China has 中国吃. It has no Chinese food. Because I had to come back to the United States and order Chinese food. That was the first thing I did when I got here. My very first day in the United States was I ordered Chinese food because you can't get it in China.
Hey, by the way, guys, I'm interested. Have you guys known this guy, Fulafu, who is a Russian guy who is posting videos in China? You guys know that guy?
Who is it?
Fulafu.
Fulafu. Yes.
Give me 1 sec. Let me play that video a bit.
All right. Meantime, Veronica, what's your actual like favorite dish from the mainland within China? What's your go-to favorite dish in China?
I really love getting. I really like it's all street food. Like I love mantou.
Okay.
The steamed bread.
That's awesome.
I mean that's literally lame, right? But that's my very favorite thing. Is the Hong Kong mantou. I like the brown mantou, steamed bread, and just like porridge, and I like to get like the lamb barbecue skewers, the Xinjiang food.
Oh yeah, Xinjiang barbecue.
You got the good stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff I miss.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Bill, what about you? I mean, you're Chinese, but what's your like favorite like dish in China that you could eat all the time?
I would say hot pot, like those spicy food with some sauce. I like all those stuff, and barbecue with some hot sauce on it. Like Chinese, like hot food in China. Spicy food in China is just awesome. And when I finish this, I'm gonna play this guy, give you guys one impression, and we can revert back to the topic a bit. So this guy, and he's speaking Chinese. This is the kind of videos that he makes. All right, guys. So basically, this guy, he's just making this kind of video. Can you guys understand? So
他是傻逼老外。
No, he's not 傻逼老外. So you know what? This guy actually has way more followers than Nathan Rich. He has
okay. Let me stop you there, Bill. Let me stop you there for 2 seconds. Okay.
Let's go.
So he likes China. Don't get me wrong, but the way that he presents it is like, I love China. Oh my God, China. Like. No, like, you can do it like how Veronica does it or how, other people doing it. Like, be reasonable. Like, don't be like, oh my God, 我爱火锅,我爱中国,我爱中国人. Like, no, like that's just, doing it over the top. And that's just, in my opinion, that's just pathetic. Like, be reasonable and be realistic.
That style though, it really reminds me of some of the Chinese variety shows, that over the top acting that you see.
Yeah.
I mean, not the shows that I would watch, but like the shows I'd be forced to watch while getting my nails done. Like I'd see it on like the Chinese person's TV, like those shows where they're just like so loud and over the top, and that personality. I think maybe Chinese people like that kind of thing.
So this guy, like, we really think like his video is kind of moronic, but like he's like the exemplary example of being a successful video creator in China, because he has over 10 million followers on Chinese social media. 10 million doing this kind of videos. So like, it's just weird, like all those. So this phenomenon, like, though we think it's very stupid, but it works so well in China with Chinese audience.
That's
like
what I thought.
success code. So Jack, like, how do you see this phenomenon? How can those morons like get so popular with those kind of videos in China?
Yeah, having no journalistic or academic credentials makes one naive enough to uncritically parrot Chinese Communist Party mantra. If they can get their fix, get their beer, get their girl, and all that sort of stuff, they're gonna be like, you know what, my life is amazing, and I'm just gonna parrot the same thing, because they want people to validate them, to be like, oh yeah, your life is amazing, like I totally agree with you. Like they just want people to validate them, to be like, yeah, you're right, like you are actually right. And that's when it comes back to what some people said, that these foreigners are losers back home, and they have no reason to be at home, because they can't get from A to B easily, because they are losers back home. They have nothing back home. And it sounds terrible, and I know, like, you shouldn't judge people like that, but some of them are really are losers, because they can't even get, like, a basic job as a cleaner or something like that, because they don't have the social skills, and they are losers, unfortunately. So yeah.
Coming out from a foreigner, it's perfect. Not me.
Dude, there are loser foreigners in China. There are loads of them. And within the China YouTuber community, there are losers that are
There are losers.
Like, I said losers at least like 15 times, so somebody can give a count about this, but they really are. There are really some people that are like that. So yeah. I mean, obviously, like, I'm looking through the chat right now. Jamaica Funk, he is definitely not a loser. He is definitely a winner. Like, that guy is awesome. Like, he's making, like, his own music, his own videos, his own, like, little, like, comedy things. Like, that guy is legit. Like, Gene Williams is legit. So he is definitely not a loser foreigner. Let's say Serpents a Day. Is Winston a loser foreigner? No, he is not. You look at his documentaries. Like what he did in China. I don't think a loser is capable of doing anything like that. And this morning he posted something on Twitter about his documentary, and I watched some of it because I have a subscription, and I watched some of it. And, that's not what loser foreigners do. Loser foreigners, they don't go around China and start rapping with, like, Chengdu, like, local rappers. That's not what loser foreigners do, in my opinion.
I think that there's a lot of people that come to China because they have a problem. Like there's a lot of alcoholics in China that, like, they wouldn't be able to maintain a job the way that they drink. I mean, there's a lot of people that, like, they get finished with work and they drink all day. I mean, the first job I ever had in China, my boss would have a work meeting with us on Thursday and tell us that we were all required to get drunk on Friday. And that on Saturday morning, when we came to work, we better all be half drunk when we come to work to teach children. And that was a problem for me because, I mean, I drink a little bit, but I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink that much. There's a major drinking culture. And I think there's a lot of people that, like, you might say are like, if people tried to come back to, if someone tried to come to America and have that level of drinking culture in their personal life, they wouldn't be able to keep their job. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of feeling like, I mean, I've spent most of my savings at this point. I'm still staying in my dad's house, but, like, I mean, I stayed at my sister's for a while and I'm at my dad's, but that's because I feel like as soon as I get an apartment, I'm going to be, like, giving up my opportunity. I feel like I don't want to put any roots down while I'm here because I'm being really stubborn about, I'm not going to decide not to go back to China. I'm not going to I'm not accepting that. So, but then sometimes I feel like, normally, somebody living in their dad's house at 45 years old. I mean, have I become that loser that I thought I had escaped from being. I don't know.
See, that's the thing. Like when I was 22, 23, I moved back to my parents' house because I lost everything because of a crappy ex-girlfriend. Like she took all my savings and she made me homeless for like 2 days. And I had to like crawl back to my parents' house and, sleep in the living room for like 6 months. Am I a loser? No, life was just unfortunate at that point. So, there is a difference being a loser and being, unfortunate in life.
I mean, I could get an apartment. I'm still earning enough money to where I could settle down here, but then I feel like I don't want to start that cycle of accepting this reality of living in the United States. I don't want to put down roots, and I don't want to accept that this is my life now and I live here again. I want to keep on every day my focus on getting back to China and getting back to my life there. So if I'm living in my dad's house for now and he's putting up with me, that's pretty cool.
Is he putting up with you, or are you putting up with him?
Honestly, I probably would have gone the rest of my life and never spent more than a few days with my dad ever again. And same with my sister. I was planning on coming back here for 10 days. I would have seen my dad one day. I would have seen my sister one day. And then I would have gone back to China and called them a couple times a year. So because this happened, now I'm going to be really sad, when I leave them. Before I lived in China, I lived in South America, Central America. I've been a long time away from my family. And so it's kind of a blessing that I've reconnected with my family, but also it's kind of not, because I was used to being away from them. And now I have to go back to this, I'm going to miss them all.
Sure. Bill, question for you. Out of curiosity, do you drink alcohol?
I sometimes drink a little alcohol because all my friends, they are proud of drinking alcohol in China. Hey, dude, you better drink a lot of alcohol to be our brother. But I really don't like drinking alcohol. But sometimes I have to go with the flow and drink a little bit with them. That's how it works. China just has this culture like people just expect you to drink a lot of alcohol, those Qingdao beers, those stuff.
I have a suggestion for you, because you just reached 1,000 subscribers on your new channel. How about we do a live stream where both of us get beer and we're going to answer questions from the audience. And we'll try to do correct and incorrect answers. And whoever says the incorrect answer needs to drink. We can do a drinking game online on the live stream.
That's really interesting.
We can figure out the details later, but for your 1,000 subs, I think we should do a little celebration. Also, I'm getting up to 1,000 subs soon. So
yeah, congratulations, man.
We're like 270 or something like that.
So you need to.
Hey guys, let me interrupt it. So, what's your favorite Chinese beer, Jack?
My favorite what? Sorry.
Chinese beer in China.
Chinese beer. Well, I need to go with Qingdao.
Yes, Qingdao. So this beer,
yep.
I heard this rumor say that the exported version of Qingdao beer, which means their beers in UK, in USA, those exported Qingdao beer is better than the Qingdao beer at home here in China.
Really?
You guys know that? And I know it's kind of different. Because when I was in the States, I know some restaurants are selling Qingdao beer, and it's just really different from the homeland Qingdao beer. So, Zach, you should probably grab some UK Qingdao beer, or Veronica, US Qingdao beer, to see what it tastes like. Is that the same as Chinese Qingdao beer? I'm really curious about that.
I will get some. I haven't got. I mean,
better.
I drink a lot. I haven't even tried.
I think that somebody said, Gretchen said, I would love a drinking game. I think we should make this a thing. We are not alcoholics, but, might as well just do something different. There's always the same thing, China #1. The US said this. The UK said this. Oh, my God, CCP #1. Oh, my God, Xi Jinping #1.
Thank you, CCP. Thank you, CCP. Really mean it.
it's always the same from these live streams, and you just need to spice it up. Like we did a live stream, a few months ago where we ordered food on the live stream at the same time. Like everybody ordered food at the same time, and then we started eating on the live stream, and it was a really good one. Like everybody enjoyed it, the audience enjoyed it, we enjoyed it, because we did something different. So I think this drinking. I think this drinking game idea is a good thing. I think we should definitely do this.
I would hate to have to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, what did I say on the live stream last night?
Oh, but I just remembered.
I know what I said. Oh my gosh.
Veronica, you're in a completely different time zone. Which time zone are you in?
I'm in the central time zone, Chicago area.
Oh my God. Oh
So
my
what
God. That's
time
what,
is it?
It's
14 hours?
1 a.m. But you know what? I have never gotten out of my China time thing. I mean, the whole time I've been here, I'm awake during Chinese daytime.
Oh,
I sleep during Chinese nighttime. I'm kind of weird. I've never adjusted my time zone.
Yeah, this is kind of unhealthy. You should probably change that.
Well, I teach I freelance teach online in the evening, for me, during, the time when Chinese children are awake taking classes. And then, when I'm done, I go to bed. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Not really healthy though.
Well, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people here work. I mean, where I'm living right now, a lot of people work in factories, and there's a lot of third shift people. So probably a third of the workforce works third shift. So I'm just one of the third shift people.
Sometimes I do that too.
So do a live stream from a dodgy Chinese basement bar. We have loads of those in Jilin. I don't know if you have it in your city, Bill. Like the ones that are usually under a shopping mall, minus second floor, and it's literally 30 square meters. There's 5 tables in there. Everybody is eating sunflower seeds and smoking changbaishan and you know.
Baishan, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't go to those places.
That's my cigarette.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, everybody that is trying to show off is smoking changbai, I think. Is that true, Bill? That's what most people smoke that want to show off, right? Like the red changbai cigarettes.
I don't know. I only know this Zhonghua cigarette. It's also red. Because it's 100 yuan a pack. So people smoke it to show off that. I don't know because I don't smoke cigarette.
We're losing Bill a little bit, I think. Yeah. There you go. Let's have a look through the comments a little bit. Anything interesting?
I quit smoking a month ago. I never could have done that in China.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Smoking in China is so embedded into the culture. Like drinking when you go out with people, they literally force you to drink and smoke. Mm-hmm. Especially if you go to a KTV with them. You can't. Yeah. You're gonna become a smoker. You have asthma, doesn't matter. You're gonna smoke. You're gonna die after 2 cigarettes, doesn't matter. You're gonna smoke. Your liver's gonna fail after 2 beers, doesn't matter. You need to drink. So
yeah, I was smoking 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day in China.
Oh.
And I was smoking those it's called Baisha in the blue pack, and I finally the security. The security guard of my school started really getting on me about it and telling me I couldn't keep smoking that kind of cigarettes anymore. He made me switch.
Those are the cigarettes that I used to smoke. Was it the light blue packet or the dark blue?
Beautiful dark blue pack with these cranes on it. I literally chose it on my first day in China because it was the beautiful package.
Those were the ones that I was smoking as well, because they were really cheap. They were I don't know, 8 yuan or 10 yuan, something like that.
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah. I found it. There you go. Let me just put this picture up. Let me download it and put it up on the live stream. But that's what I used to smoke. But I quit smoking 3 years ago. Half a year into my China adventure, I quit smoking.
Oh gosh, I never could in China. Now I'm addicted to nicotine gum, which I don't know how long,
You should get those patches. Put the
I
patches on
know
you.
I have patches too. But the thing is that if I wear a patch, then when I crave a cigarette, I can't do anything. Like if I already have a patch on, then I can't
Yeah.
do anything. That's it. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's
that's the one that I used to smoke
Yep.
as well.
And then the guard of my school convinced me to switch to like that brand, but like it's a maroon colored or a brown colored, and it's like Sandai by shop.
Okay.
Yeah. So he made me switch to at least that one, and it's a little more expensive, and it is smoother smoke. But yeah, apparently soldiers used to smoke that, so it's not like it doesn't make you. I mean, for them to see like a white American girl smoking that kind of cigarettes, it always made old men just like guffaw. Like, what are you smoking? The old men would always insist that I should smoke theirs instead.
Yeah.
I got lectured by a lot of Chinese guys on the streets when they would smoking.
But yeah, back to like the fundamentals of smoking in China. It's really like within the culture, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's really just a thing in China because it's super cheap and it's a symbol. Like it shows like your status really, that you can afford XYZ cigarettes, like the Changbaishan cigarettes. Like it shows that you have a status in China. Like like I said, I quit smoking a long time ago because I used to play football at a very high level. I used to run marathons and all of those things. Well, I still do that, and I still snowboard. So yeah, smoking is definitely not a good thing, but like you said, it's really hard in China to give up smoking because it's really cheap and you're really surrounded by it. So yeah,
That's right.
I hate smoking.
Just don't smoke in front of me, guys. Don't. I hate like.
I quit. It's been a month and a half now. I quit. I knew I needed to do that while I was here because if I'm in China, I'll never be able to stop, and I really can never smoke again. I had quit smoking before I went to China, and I started smoking in China, and it was actually police officers in China that got me smoking again. Yep.
Damn. Changbaishan, Lucky Strikes. No. Let me pull up the Changbaishan. Let's do a little Google search on it. There are like fake Changbaishan cigarettes.
No, they're really good too. They're not like Lucky Strikes at all. They're like they're really real. They're some of the best cigarettes I've probably ever smoked in my life. I've been given packs of them as a gift because it's like 100 and something per pack. I mean,
yeah, it's ridiculously expensive considering like the blue Baisha that we talked about is like 8 to 10 yuan.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. I've been given these as a gift, and that's not the most expensive one. I mean that one that picture you just showed. That's the cheaper version.
Yeah. I actually, when I bought my car 2.5 years ago, at the car dealership, they would give you like a bottle of Baijiu and they would give you like a carton of cigarettes as well, and it was actually Changbaishan cigarettes. I gave it to my father-in-law to give it to someone because I was like, what am I going to do with it? Like, I don't smoke. Most of my friends don't smoke, so whatever. Give it to someone important in the government.
Right, it's right.
So yeah, Ray says, I hate smoking too. Everybody hates smokers. Veronica, you need to stop smoking like for good. For good.
This is my 10th time quitting though. That's the thing.
So that's why I said for real, for good, you need to stop.
I'm too old to keep smoking at this point. I mean, I'm lucky if I don't get lung cancer anyway.
In Asia, alcohol, cigarettes, restaurants way cheaper than most Western countries. Hence, Sexpat 60. I have a different name for him, and Bill knows it. I like to say, Gaylord 69.
Bro, yeah, seriously, stop obsessing with this guy. Stop, like,
I'm obsessed.
We are obsessed with him. I think it's legit. to say this now.
Anyway, we're coming up to an hour and 45. Bill,
Yeah.
anything else that you would
Yes.
like to add?
I have an interesting question for you guys. Mostly for Veronica. So because Veronica really loves China, like we can all see that. So Veronica, let's say we have this scenario where you can choose to be a Chinese citizen who grew up in China and lives in an ordinary Chinese family. Do you want to be in this scenario, Veronica?
Well, the thing is that I want to be educated. So that's the issue I would have. I would want to be, if I would take it if I were educated Chinese person. I wouldn't want to have to be a person who only went to high school and now has to.
No. You go to a college. You go to a college. You graduate
as long
from an ordinary college, just an ordinary person. No.
Well, college as in high school or college as in university?
University.
Yeah. Depends what country you're in, what that means. As long as I mean, if I was an educated Chinese person, I would be grateful to be an educated Chinese person. I would totally, definitely do that. Yes.
Okay, Veronica, here's the implication of that. So being a Chinese person is very different from being an expat in China. As you may know, like you guys came from some English speaking country and you can find a job, teach English here that pays you guys over 20,000 yuan a month. But in China, if you're trying to do the same job, like if you are getting paid over 20,000 yuan a month, you are making more than, I would say, at least the 95% of the Chinese population. So being an ordinary Chinese person, you go to college, it's very hard to be at that level, be over 95% of the Chinese population. You'll probably end up like the middle class, which can probably pay you like 10,000 yuan a month, which is very good situation because most Chinese people make way less money than that. So will you be in this scenario if you can choose, Veronica? Because you're not getting life like easier. My point. My English kind of kicking in. Sorry.
I feel like what you're asking me though is, would I trade places with some of my very, very good Chinese friends? And if that's what you're asking, then I admire them and respect them so much that I would totally become their peer if that were an option for me. I have some very, very good friends the person that you're describing, this is some of my very good friends that I love and respect and admire. And, yes, I've seen them struggle but I love them and respect them so much. I would totally, definitely become their sister. I would.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
And how about you, Zach?
You know my answer for this one, Bill, but for the audience, I'm going to say the same thing. Like, no, I don't think I would want to be, legit Chinese, like from the beginning. Not because I disrespect, you guys or anything like that. It's because, for me, there are more opportunities. There were more opportunities at that time for me. So, no.
Right. So this is a question that I always want to ask you guys, and I think like if it's me, I have the choice. I will want to be an expat and foreigner in China. I would not want to be a Chinese if I have the option, because like that gives me advantages, like very realistically. That's just starting me from a point that's way easier compared to the vast majority of people here. So yeah, I think, and I appreciate you guys giving this honest answer. Really appreciate that.
Sure. I mean, I can elaborate a little bit more. Like I said, I don't have any problems with China and Chinese people, but I feel like I have more opportunities in China as a foreigner than as a Chinese person. So I would definitely stay as an expat in China, not as Chinese. So It's just my personal preference. I mean, there are obviously some advantages to one side and obviously disadvantages as well. But China doesn't really allow like dual citizenship, so that is a disadvantage in my opinion. And AK just pointed it out in the chat. Some countries have dual citizenship. Too bad China doesn't. If they would have a dual citizenship, I would definitely become Chinese. One, because it's something that is very hard to get. So if you get the opportunity and you're able to get it, then yeah, sure. I mean, it's kind of a flex on people. Like, I'm Chinese, I'm British Chinese, or Chinese Hungarian, or Chinese American, like on paper and in real life as well. Like, it's kind of a flex on people. But obviously has the advantages as well. Like, if you're Chinese, like Chinese on paper, you can do a lot more things. Like, opening a business is less of a hassle. Well, as in if you're a foreigner, like you need to jump through a lot of hoops to start a business. So yeah, that's my extended point and view about this. But I don't want to steal the show again.
Yeah, really good insight, Jack. So now let's wrap this up, or do we have any more thing to add? Zach, Veronica, anything?
Veronica, ladies first.
Oh no, I'm just really grateful that you guys included me today. It's been really nice talking with y'all. I mean, I can't believe that this time has gone so fast.
Yeah, it's an hour and 45, and yeah, it feels like it's been like what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. So yeah, it was a good chat. I enjoyed it. I think the audience enjoyed it as well. So my take on this is that everybody should subscribe to Bill, because Bill is like my little brother. I always look after him. I always tell him things. And the other one is that Veronica, you should restart your YouTube channel. Upload some stuff on it, like opinion pieces. Introduce yourself a little bit, because you have some interesting things to tell people. And I can see the audience here in the chat box, like they agree with a lot of things that you say, and they really like you. So people in the comment section, leave a lovely comment for Veronica. Tell her how much you appreciate her, and if she should start a YouTube channel with her opinion pieces or whatever she fancies doing. And yeah, that is it from us, I guess. So Bill, do you want to do your sign off?
Yes, true. Definitely want to give my shout out to Veronica and Zach, because I think like being an expat in China, you guys are really authentic, and that's why I appreciate you guys so much. And it's really hard to find. So yeah, definitely make sure to subscribe to Zach and Veronica, possibly. And yeah, hope you have a good day. So now let's just give it to Veronica. Oh, yeah. Veronica, let's go.
Veronica,
you get into the ways that Bill and I disagree with so many things. I mean, it took me a long time to warm up to Bill's channel. At first, when I found him, I was like, what is this guy talking about? And I was angry. It took me a while to really get where you're coming from, Bill. So I think we could have some really interesting conversations.
Sure. Veronica, do you mind leaving a comment under this live stream once we finish, so people can subscribe to your channel, and I'm going to edit all the description and everything. Okay. So people can subscribe to you and, check you out in the future. So now you're forced to do a channel.
Okay.
Kind of have to do that now.
All right, then. But yeah, Bill, do you want to do your goodbye sign-off thing? Subscribe, share, like, all that sort of stuff?
I think we have already done that. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share the video, anything. Just like click on those buttons. It's good.
Yeah, and click the buttons, all the buttons. Yeah, all of them. All right, then, guys, that is it. I will definitely see you later, because I'm still doing 2 more live streams today. I'm a busy man today. Bill's going to be on another one as well. At 10 p.m. China time, we're going to talk about real estate in China and the UK, and we're going to have some very interesting insights about that. And at 8 p.m. China time, I'm going to be on Snarky Guys live stream talking about not muscles, tattoos. Sorry, shouldn't flex on people. I shouldn't flex on people. All right, then, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Veronica, it was a pleasure having you on, and good luck with coming back to China, and hopefully we can talk to you soon. All right, then. See you guys.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.